Hey guys, welcome to Tarot and Heal. Welcome to the place where we Tarot and Heal our way to self-love and unity consciousness. Lisa here. Welcome to your new moon reading for, Taurus, sorry. Welcome to your new moon and Taurus reading. I hope all is well. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, add me an IG. That's Tarot and Heal. If you want a personal reading, the info box is below. Okay? All right, let's get started. I come to you humbly, God, thanking you for your divine guidance, providing messages of divine light, divine love, in accordance with your divine will. What is it that we need to know for the new moon in Taurus? How can we work our light? Okay. All right, so we have Get Grounded coming out here. It says empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. All right. It's interesting because I find myself today and it's very softer, more my feminine today, right? I feel, more sensitive right now. So I just feel like maybe that's why I was led to do this reading right now, because it wasn't my intention. I feel like it's something there, something to that. But either way, it's a need to get grounded. You have Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity coming out, and then Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and soul past lives. All right. This does have the energy of some spiritual upgrades. All right. Being that Taurus, I don't know if Taurus is considered a feminine sign or not. I'm not sure. But they are sensual, right? They do enjoy the pleasures, the world. So something there to like treating yourself, okay? Having this beautiful alone time, this quiet time, bubble baths and all that good stuff. All right. In the bottom of the deck here, we have Sisterhood of the Rose. See, it's a lot of feminine energy coming through here. Feminine energy meaning, there's a time to be in your feminine energy where you're more intuitive and you're just taking in. You're more tapped into your psychic awareness and you're more open to receive messages. You're more receptive because the feminine energy receives. And then there's a time to be in your masculine energy where you're executing, So it seems like it's time to quiet your mind. Maybe that's why going in nature would help, because that definitely helps to clear your mind. Even if you're not going out there to meditate, being around the trees and being around nature, walking around barefoot is something to that, all right? That helps you get in touch with Mother Earth, right? Okay. All right. So what have we released since the previous moon cycle, which was the full moon in Scorpio, I believe, right? What have we released? Oh. So we have the Nine of Pentacles coming out, which is that solo energy. It's a happy solo energy, okay? Just enjoying. And this also could be a card of someone like enjoying the fruits of their labor, okay? Enjoying luxurious things, So back to that bubble bath, warm, that warm energy. Like, yeah, having a meal is fine, but, having a dessert is a luxury, right? So it's like doing a little bit extra to take care of yourself. in doing so, it does require to walk away with the Six of Swords. I mean, I feel like life is just a cycle of just walking away from things and walking into new things. You know, it's a constant transition, you know, things coming in, things leaving. All right. But with the Six of Swords, it is about walking away from either walking away from a dream or walking into a new one. All right. We do have the High Priestess here. Oh, wow. So yeah, with the Justice card. Wow. All right. So it's definitely walking away from, it could be a dream that didn't serve you. For example, a business idea that was just draining your energy. A relationship that you thought was a dream relationship and is draining you. You know, whatever the case is. It does seem like it's an injustice. It was something that you were overthinking with the Nine of Swords coming out and the Seven of Pentacles. It's like, when am I going to get the fruits of my labor for real? You know, you might have been trying to get the fulfillment from this thing, the realization of not getting that cannot give you the fulfillment that you want, and that the true fulfillment comes from your own self-love. I feel like that's a little bit of an epiphany. For example, if you're looking at a relationship and you're like, why isn't it working out? Why am I not feeling happy? It might be an epiphany, realizing like, oh, I haven't been taking care of myself. No wonder why I'm getting this mirrored back to me through someone else, you know? Yeah, the Queen of Swords is major clarity here about what's giving you the return on your investment when it comes to this dream or so that's when the new work begins. It feels like it leads to, it's a shift in perspective. Like it's a twofold shift. One is the realization that something isn't fulfilling you, but then realizing the real reason why, which is because you were putting too much, you were leaning too much on this thing to give you the happiness. So then that takes you into a deeper level of self-love here. It also leads to us following our heart more and not being as logical, all right? Trusting our intuitive guidance more. So back to this feminine energy, being more receptive to our spiritual guidance, and then switching into our masculine when we need to act on it, okay, as opposed to just trying to logically figure everything out. This definitely feels like a spiritual upgrade, a new way of moving. Okay. Where are we now? You have the Magician coming out. Oh, I don't know if I showed you the High Priestess that came out here. Okay, along with that Prince of Cups, the Knight of Cups in reverse, that dream that we have to walk away from. It's like your intuitive guidance is shining a light on what that dream is lacking. So now it's leading us to refine it. Okay, now with that being said, where are we now? We have the Magician card coming out along with the Ace of Pentacles. Now, after we reassess and realize, oh, this thing cannot give me the fulfillment I want. I can give me the fulfillment I want by doing A, B, and C, you know, by dancing more, painting more, or taking more bubble baths, whatever it is for you. However, you need to take better care. It also gives you a clearer perspective. Once you fill up your own cup, your desires will change. Sometimes when we go out, and I'll stick to love with this, sometimes when we go out into the world and we're looking for someone, we're looking for people who we think can fill our void, right? Usually we probably go for people who have traits that we don't really exhibit, you know, to complete us, you know, whatever the case is. Or you go for somebody who's exactly like you to make you feel, you know, validated. But either way, it's to fill up a gap, right? But once you fill up your own gap, you fill up your own void, you fill up your own cup, now it's like, okay, I don't have to lean on relationships to fill that up because I'm already filling it up. Now, what do I want a relationship for? This can also apply to a career. If you're going for a specific career to make you feel more important in the world, right? Then if you learn to fill up your own cup and you feed your own validation, you feed yourself with feelings of importance without the need for material possessions. Once you fill that up for yourself, now you're like, oh, well, now I don't need to have this amount of, or this level of status to feel important. Now, what is it that I need a job for? Besides paying bills, you know, it's like, what is my motivation for these specific jobs, you know? So that's the work that's about to happen, the shift in perspective. All of these moon readings that came through, that's been coming through in the past couple of cycles, it just seems like we're slowly but surely stepping into magician mode as a collective. Okay, slowly but surely stepping onto our authentic path, and that is a process, all right? So part of this process was realizing, why did I want something? I think I spoke about this before a lot with the motivations behind our dreams, and having to identify what our motivations are, and then learning to fill that up for yourself. So that's the next step. And then after that, it's like, okay, now what do I want to create with this new sense of fullness? Okay, the Ace of Pentacles coming through. It does bring in a new opportunity, which is great. It just brings you closer to your path. Okay. There might be a little bit of resistance to it. Okay, we do have the Magician clarified by that Emperor in reverse. Both of them in reverse kind of has control freak energy here. All right. See, I don't know if this realization is going to be clear or if it's just a subtle shift. But it does seem like someone, when this shift happens and this opportunity comes in that's more authentic, someone might, instead of stepping into magician mode and realizing that the universe has brought this in for you, someone might want to hold on for dear life, okay? But it's because of this, a disappointment, not wanting to feel the pain of this new opportunity coming in. Someone had to walk away from a previous dream. They're walking into a new dream, whether this is a dream life, a dream person, okay? They're walking away from one manifestation to go to another. That's the transition that's happening, but it seems like someone might, there might be an inclination for all of us. Once this new manifestation come in, we might just stick our claws in, you know, and really go into control freak mode. So let's just be mindful of that. Might be a little bit of ego tripping with the Six of Wands, all right, coming through. But it does seem like this is a victory, all right? So that's cool. But if the work hasn't been done as to filling up your own cup, that might lead to this ego tripping, all right? That and the realization of needing to step into magician mode. But, okay. What is emerging within us? Yeah, I don't see there's major clarity here with the Seven of Cups. There's some clarity, but it's not... It's just going to be a transition here, okay? It's like getting a blessing from the universe, but not recognizing that it's a blessing from the universe. You might look at it like, you might credit it to just your own doing, right? And not realize that this is a result of a shift within you. Because if you realize the source of this new opportunity, you'll keep doing what you've been doing, right? If you realize that doing the work, doing the healing has brought in a new opportunity, you'll probably keep doing the work to keep that thing flowing, right? But I don't see that there's much clarity in that. Like, someone might not be seeing the spiritual aspect of it. All right. There is forward movement, but I don't see like someone's not giving credit where it's due. All right. It's like the energy of like, yeah, I did that all on my own. It's like, no. Queen of Wands here. There's a need to work in tandem with spirit, with your spirit team, okay? And then when you get what you want, you continue to work with them, right? This almost has an energy of like, if something's going bad, you know, something's going bad, and that's when someone prays, right? But when things are going good, they kind of forget about praying. That's what I'm feeling. There's something like that going on. Pray all day, every day about everything. All right? Keep them in the loop. I mean, they're going to be in the loop. But you can't sit there and treat them like, forget it, I'm done now. I got what I wanted. You know, not saying that that's what y'all are doing or that's what we're doing, but there might be some people that's doing that. All right? This Queen of Wands is understanding the lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. The manifestation mode, being a magician. It's not just asking for something when you need it, when you're in a bind. All right. I think I made my point clear there. Or asking for it, and then when you get it, you're like, yeah, I did all that. It's like, no, you prayed, you know, or whatever. I feel like what's emerging is a realization. The realization of that. The realization that we don't have it all under control, right? Certain things do need to be in alignment. We are aligned with a specific, or we all have a certain path that is our highest possible path, you know, for our soul. And that's not something that you can necessarily determine. Okay, so I think it's a matter of like getting out of the idea of there certain things not being fated. Realizing that everything does happen for a reason. All right. There's some confusion about why someone had to walk away from the previous opportunity. Like, what happened there? Why did I have to build that up then, you know? But that's where the faith comes in. That's where the trust comes in. That's the judgment call that needs to be made here. Understanding that whatever it is this old dream that you have to walk away from. The Taurus reading for May, it was, I believe it was talking about that. I think it was called, But Can I Have Both Though? You know? And I was pretty much talking about like there's an old relationship, job, whatever. It's something of the old world, and then there's something of the new world coming in, and they have to make that transition to the new world. Yeah, I feel like this is what's happening here too. But yeah, someone needs to understand, make the judgment call, and just really understand like, hey, I don't understand why I had to build up all that stuff in the old world. And what I told them in the Taurus reading was like, just kind of think of it kind of like training, right? I think I use the example of like everything that I've like done in the past, right? I had many past lives when it came to these with the career paths, you know, a bunch of like business ideas I've tried, and, you know, all that good stuff. But all of that prepped me for this passion that I didn't even know I had, that is tarot and heal. But I can see now in hindsight, like, oh, that it has helped me, you know. They were all, I put a lot of effort into those ideas, and I had to walk away from those ideas. But the skills and the experience, the confidence, everything that I've acquired from the old world stuff, I can apply to this new world. So it's the acceptance and surrender. Yeah, it's a surrender that needs to come through. All right. And understanding that it was calculated, all right, outside of you. All right, what do we wish to grow? Four of Cups, it's just this energy of like, but why though? But why did I have to let that go? Why did I have to let that business go? You know, that was my baby. I put so much effort into that online store I had going on. It was popping too, okay? You know, it's that type of energy. Why? Why do I have to lose that? Why do I have to let that go? Five of Pentacles. It's feeling like, oh, that was a waste of time, a waste of energy. And some things might be, but I really don't think that that's the best way to look at it, obviously. I feel like that's where the reassessment comes in, where you realize, what did I gain from that? If it was a relationship that you've been in for a really long time, I'm sure you've grown in that relationship. And if you're being led to move on, I'm sure you can say that you didn't go in there and leave the same person. The person that you were when you got into it, you have to be different leaving. So there's a need to take inventory of that and appreciate how much you've grown, or what you've learned, the lessons that you've learned in the old world experiences or old world manifestations. The online store that I created, it was a streetwear brand. My motivation, talking about motivations, my motivation behind that was not with pure intentions. It was all about the money, Capricorn energy all day. All right. It wasn't about the passion. It wasn't about helping people. It wasn't about any of that. It was very selfish reasons. Okay. It was wanting to reach a certain status. Okay. It was about, you know, just all that egotistical shit. All right. So that it's like the realization of my motivation for that was trash. and in turn, it wasn't my authentic path. So I had to walk away from that, even though I put a lot of effort and time and energy into it. Now I had to walk away from that and do something totally different, which is a YouTube channel for tarot reading, not knowing if I was going to get money or not, but it was something that was more fulfilling and more on my authentic path. That would be that Ace of Pentacles, right? Now I could keep looking back. with the Seven of Cups. I could keep looking back like, damn, but why? Can't you sure? And I definitely went through that process of like, damn, like, can I go back to that though? Like, that's done? And it's like, yeah, that's done. And then you surrender to that and then realize like, okay, but what I've learned from that experience was I can definitely apply it here, you know, the branding, all of that, you know. So just keep that in mind. Don't get caught up in what you've built. Don't get caught, don't look at it like a waste of time. Try to shift your perspective and see what you've learned and what you've gained from it in a very practical sense, all right? This isn't in theory. We're talking about practical lessons. How have you learned? How have you changed? What have you learned? All right. I used to do this before. Now I don't do this, you know. For me, it was like, damn, I was all about the money. Now it's like, I'm all about the fulfillment. And I learned a lesson in how important that is for me. All right. So yeah. All right. But yeah, it does seem like it's like a longing. That's what it feels like. This feels like longing. Getting hung up on that. Like, damn, I really wanted that dream. It's like, yeah, that wasn't it. All right. How can we bring the goals into fruition? Look at that, the Lovers card, major alignment, okay? You leave this old dream, you bring in, you accept this new dream, recognize it for the aligning factor, the alignment that it brings to your life. Understand that you're stepping into your authentic path. Also respect it and honor it as well, okay? Like, I know this channel, I was divinely guided to this channel. This was not anywhere on my radar. And I have to understand that and respect that and appreciate that I was led here without, you know, it wasn't, I can't go in this ego mode, egotistical mode that I mentioned earlier, right? The magician and the emperor. I cannot say that this was me at all. Okay, for some of us, it might be, this opportunity might come from left field. It might feel like that, where it's like, oh, this was not me at all. But I feel like some people, if they don't recognize how spirit was moving, then they could fall into the trap of like, yeah, I did that, you know, and it's like, no, that's not it. Give credit where it's due. So we're stepping into our soul's path. All right. Let's look into the blockages, what we're feeling to see. What are the blockages here? You have the World card coming out. Yeah, it's a major upgrade. Ooh, Three of Swords. See, it's just going to be a little bit of the realization that you're losing love for the things that you created in the old world. That's going to cause a disappointment. Maybe a little bit of resentment because you feel like it's energy wasted. But back to what I said, to combat that, look at what you've gained, okay? Look at the lessons that you've learned. So it's not a waste. That's gonna help you shift your perspective too. You have to oh gosh, okay. The importance of reassessing what you're walking away from. That's a way, that's the way that you're going to step into this new mentality needed for the new world and new manifestation. You have to understand why that wasn't aligned with you in the first place. As I mentioned, I had to realize, oh, that online store wasn't in alignment with my soul. It was in line with my ego, with my shadow, with the get money, help, type of energy, right? So you have to recognize that, identify that, all right? Even if you put in a lot of effort into it, there's a need to take an honest assessment like, that wasn't really aligned with my soul. I wasn't following my heart with that, okay? Even if it may feel like you was, but the new opportunity that comes in is going to show you what it looks like when you're on your path, and it's going to highlight the motivations that led you to build that old manifestation, okay? What's the blockage? The resistance of walking away. Oh my gosh, with the ego card. See, somebody's going to be ego tripping a little bit. Like, no, I put in that effort. An example of that would be me saying, okay, I hear you in this tower on the heel business. I hear you, but I put in way too much work into that online store to let that go. I'm not letting it go. All right, I'm going to actually double down in that online store. Okay, and maybe I'll do both, but I'm not letting that go. Okay, this is that energy here, the resistance with the Six of Swords and the ego card. Now, it's because I recognize this path as being divinely guided. It was easy for me to just let that one go because the reflection, the reassessment is going to make it easier for you to let that go. All right. But some people might also the new manifestation is going to bring on a new identity, a new ego, right? Online store, streetwear, get money. That was my swaggy, that was my energy. Switching over to tarot reading, love and light, all that shit, right? Not really caring about the money and going just for the passion. That's a totally different ego, okay? So this ego, it can fight for it. It's going to fight for its own existence as this one starts to rise up, all right? So just be mindful of that. When you step onto your authentic path, and then it depends on like how far off are you on my words have been all over the place. It also depends on how far off are you from your authentic path too. I feel like the more further off you are, the more resistance that can come about. Okay, the more that old ego will fight for itself, especially if you really made roots. You whatever you built in the old world has roots, right? This gets more complicated when it comes to relationships. Like I'm just using it with something light, like a business. Yes, I put a lot of effort into that business and money, but I was able to let that go. Imagine, well, I'm sure some of you can imagine because you're probably going through it, where you have a long-term relationship, and it has roots. You guys pay bills together. You guys have a joint account, you guys have children, and then you're being led to walk away from that, which is an old world manifestation, okay? That's a major identity shift, and that obviously will cause more resistance there. Totally understandable. That's why I feel like this is just a process. This part is just a long death and rebirth process. And I think we've been talking about this from, I don't know what moon cycle that was, after I came back from my break. But yeah, I feel like every moon reading that I'm doing is just showing the phase that we're in, okay, in regards to this moon cycle, in regards to the death and rebirth. This is not something that ends with the Taurus season. It's going to be a process. You're going to have to unravel yourself from the old world. And like I said, it depends on how much you are rooted in that old world. It's going to take longer, you know. So yeah. What are we feeling to say? The moon. This is the epitome of not seeing things. The moon is about things being hidden in the background. All right. So I don't know why that came out. I think it's highlighting like, yo, you really don't see. You really don't see what you're stepping into. That's what it looks like. Why is the moon card here? Juggling in between the new and old world. Okay, see how this opportunity is coming through. Not everybody's gonna recognize it as a spiritual shift. Not everyone's gonna recognize it like, oh, I'm stepping into alignment. I don't think that's how it's gonna come through. So that's why it might be easy to ignore. I feel like it's just gonna come through in a very human way, a very tangible human way, especially with this Taurus energy. It's very realistic. And it could just come through like, hey, you've been at this job for a really long time. Now you have this new job. Does it make sense to go? And it might not, sorry, I'm shaking the camera like I'm up. So you might not realize it doesn't feel like a spiritual move. That's what it is. It doesn't feel like a spiritual move. So it might be easy to ignore the opportunity. So yeah, how do you identify it? I wouldn't even know. I don't know. But yeah, this is just highlighting what I was saying. Like when I left the online store and blah, blah, blah. I knew that I was divinely guided. So it was easier for me to say, okay, let me let that go. But if it's more complicated, like with relationships, that's not going to be as easy to say unless unless someone's being led to a major spiritual connection, okay, where it feels like, okay, my heart is, well, I guess that's the way to identify it, okay? This opportunity, this very tangible opportunity, whether it's a person, whether it's a job, whatever, it's going to pull at your heart. And that's how you'll know, like, oh, okay, that's what it feels like to be in alignment. That's what it feels like to actually follow your heart. That's what it feels like when it desires, when it's actually a wish fulfillment on my path, as opposed to me getting something out of ego. All right. So that soul searching needs to be had there with the Four of Swords. All right, we have the Queen of Pentacles here. Getting into alignment with what you're supposed to be doing. It is, with that Nine of Pentacles and this Queen of Pentacles, there's something about like more independence that's coming through here. We do have the Six of Cups coming out with the Magician card. This is like very soulful energy here, all right? This is like feeling in your element. That's what I feel. Because that Nine of Pentacles is coming out, which is like I said, it's like kind of luxurious energy, right? Fruits of your labor type of energy. Doing what you're meant to do and getting paid for it, you know, in a very tangible way. That Nine of Pentacles could mean that. But it's like an independent energy, right? Independent contentment, you know, contentment because of you filling up your own cup is going to make you more self-sufficient here, whatever this path is. But then with that Six of Cups, it's like, it's the beauty of being in alignment, like just enjoying that. And with the Magician card, there's a need to recognize the Magician energy, the Magician mode that created this. All right. All these manifestation cards. We have the King of Wands coming out. Ooh, Five of Swords. Hold up. All right. We're not going there. What's that advice? Oh, and I'm sorry, with the Moon card, clarified by the Two of Pentacles, this is bouncing in between the old world and the new world, all right? What's the advice? And someone's bouncing in between the old and the new, maybe because they don't recognize that it is their spiritual, it is their alignment that's on the line. It's not just a regular choice. You know, it's actually a choice to be in alignment with their soul's purpose. So if someone doesn't realize the severity of the choice, then someone might be going back and forth, like, oh, maybe, you know. What's the advice? All right now, cards. It would be an injustice, okay, if you double down. It would have been an injustice if I did not follow my intuitive guidance and start this channel. That would have been an injustice for me, injustice for whoever I'm helping. This would have, if I would have stayed with the freaking online store that I thought was my baby, oh, I can't even imagine. It would have been a major disservice to myself and my life if I didn't take that path. So, Justice card in reverse. Follow your heart. You deserve it. Ace of Wands. Follow this new opportunity of passion, okay? See, look at that with the conflict, with the Five of Wands coming out. It's like that, drop that inner conflict. Just go for it. Go for your heart. Whatever your heart is tugging at you to do. The biggest, issue here is just stepping out of that old ego that you're used to. That's all. With the Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck, it's like you'd be cheating yourself. Because with the Six of Pentacles, the thing that you were building in the old world, oh my gosh, this is going to sound a little harsh, especially if this is applying to relationships. But whatever it is that you're building, that you've been building in the old world, it was not, first of all, it wasn't in alignment completely with your highest self. As I mentioned, we all have the highest possible path, you know, right? So we're being led to whatever that is. Whatever you were building in the old world, it was not aligned with that highest vibration that you could be on, all right? It was actually some type of settling with the Six of Pentacles. If I was going for just an online store and just getting money, right, it would not have given me the emotional fulfillment and spiritual growth that this channel is bringing for me. You know what I mean? So that's what's happening. I would have been cheating myself. So that's the choice that's being made here. You follow your heart and you experience the fullness of life that you're meant to experience, as opposed to whatever you think you're supposed to experience. Okay, and I do feel like something about the old world, that control, you already have it locked down. So it makes you feel comfortable in that comfort zone. So it's just a matter of jumping out of your comfort zone, jumping out of your old ego, and being open enough to just explore this new ego, this new opportunity, this new you that's going to blossom out of this opportunity, all right? With the Four of Swords, soul search. It's time to do the soul searching, all right? Recognize that this is an opportunity for alignment. All right, let's see what the power animal is talking about here. Giraffe spirit, see the bigger picture. Yeah, see, it's something about you have to be able to recognize it, recognize this opportunity for what it actually is. And I think that might be hidden. That's why the Four of Swords is coming out. There's a need to recognize, there's a need to quiet your mind, get grounded, realize that this opportunity that's coming in, it's more than what you think it is. It's not just a change in your life. It is something bigger than just, the choice is bigger than what you think it is, all right? with the unbound. It's meant for you to unbound yourself from soul contracts. So this is like if you're with a karmic and then you're being led to move away from that. Okay. If this is just your habit, your ego moving, however your patterns, you know, the patterns that lead you to make certain choices in love or make certain choices in careers, it's time to move out of that. Time to break away from that previous ego. Recognize it for the importance that it is. Reflect on your truth. Reflect on what that's been bringing. It hasn't quite been bringing all that you wanted. And I feel like if you tap in and you don't double down and you just take an honest assessment, you'll realize that there is more, or that this opportunity that's coming in it can give you the thing that you want, okay? Or at the very least, you can reflect on what you've been building. It hasn't been completely fulfilling for you. That's going to be tricky. That's going to require some soul searching, especially if you double down on your resistance, okay? Because I definitely understand, like, I put a lot of money into that, right? And I was just like, well, I really do love it, you know? And it's like, nobody's saying you don't love what you've been working towards. It's just saying that there's something else that can fill you up more. All right. So this is a choice of really just doing it just for you. It's like making an independent decision, a decision that's not based on anybody else's desires or opinions. It's a decision solely on like what your soul wants. All right. There's a need to reflect on that and see the bigger picture there. Like if I keep going down that path, how will my life turn out there? Is that my highest vibration? Is that my best life? Is that me being self-actualized? All right? All right. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. Add me on IG, Tarot and Heal. If you want a personal reading, check out the info box below. Thank you so much, and until we meet again, peace.